Three, two, one. Ravi, we're live. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Leon.
How have you
Man,
been?
like, I've been doing great. I've been doing exceptional. It's been almost a month since we last talked, right?
Yeah, you always do the same to me. You start crushing it, you forget about me, and you just keep winning.
And then you run into a problem, and then I restart. But
But
yeah, man.
thank you for jumping in, dude. I'm very excited for this conversation because we started working 3 months ago, roughly.
Yeah,
And when you came
yeah,
to me, you really told me, dude, this next year has to be different. I
yeah.
just need to step up. So, what were you when we started working together?
Yeah, so I think I reached out to you on around middle of December 2024, right?
Hmm.
And during that time, on a good day, I was getting done with 3 or 4 hours of work on a good day. And those good days were very rare, like maybe one day of the week, so like four days of the month, right? And like that just doesn't cut it. Like if I want to grow my business to where I want to grow it, 4 hours per one day of the week is just not good enough.
Right. And it was
And
a productivity problem, a mindset problem. What was it?
for me, it was like I knew the tools, like I was an avid watcher of your content, like I knew everything I needed to do. It's just that I did not have a consistency. Like I would have all these Notion trackers. I would be like, okay, this time I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna do monk mode, all these things. But like I would do it for like the first week and then it would fall off. And then I just would not get back on it again. And then I'd feel shame and then I'd start again and then it'd fall off. And that cycle just kept repeating multiple times throughout the year.
Got it. And then we started training you with kind of everything that we do to rewire you guys' mind. And what happened? So, where are you? You used to do, let's say, one day a week, 4 hours of work. Now, what is it?
Yeah, so well, right now my baseline, like my bare minimum per day is about three ring fencing sessions, which is like 4.5 hours of work.
Hmm.
But that's just like on a bad day, I'm doing three ring fencing sessions. But
Okay.
most days I'm getting done with about 7 hours of like pure work. And then on top of that, I'm doing like sales practices, cold calls, and other things like that. So about like 8 or 9 hours of just pure output per day.
Dude, that's a
6, 8.
lot. 6 days a week. So, you went from kind of roughly one day, 4 hours, and call it a day to 6 days, 9 hours.
Yeah, pretty much.
No burnout, no procrastination, no bullshit.
No, like literally no procrastination. Like I wake up, it's like
Damn.
almost algorithmic. I wake up, I do my like morning routine where I just brush my teeth, get some sunlight. Then I sit and like I knock out three ring fencing sessions, and then I go hit the gym. I come back, I have some food, then I hit two more, and then I do my cold call. It's like purely routine now.
Dude, look at you, Elite Ravi. Good job.
I mean, it's pretty much all because of you, right? Like I would, as I mentioned, like I had all of the tools, I knew everything I needed to do. It just wasn't getting done. And the entire reason that I was able to go from where I was to where I am now is because like I had the guidance from you. Like you helped me like focus myself.
Mhm.
Because like it's so easy to get lost in all of the protocols. Like self-master itself has a lot of protocols, but you helped me figure out like, okay, you needed to focus on this now, and then you add this on, and then you add this on, and like you just gave me a roadmap and I followed the roadmap and here I am.
Dude, I love it. But you know what really excites me is that once I give you the tools to understand how the mind works and how to up your performance, and I give you the protocols and I guide you over time, you rewire that mind. And now you do it on your own. As we said, I haven't seen you in a month, dude, and you're better than ever. Like you are consistently operating at an elite performance, and you don't need me nudging you. You have already become that person.
Yeah, pretty much. And the part that baffles me the most is just that it's only been 3 months. Like in
Yeah.
my head, I was like, oh, it's been like 6 or 7 months of self-mastery. But then I look at the date and it's been 3 months. And the progress on my business, like how I feel about my work, and it's like my certainty about my results, they've just like become so much better ever since I started working with you.
Yeah, dude. In terms of because now you're balancing not only you're balancing the business you already had, but also you're expanding that. You're doing, you're doing client delivery, you're doing sales, you're doing marketing. You're literally doing a lot of things every single day. I mean, you're working 9 hours of a day, so I would assume that you're consistently
Yeah.
pushing on all fronts without burnout.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I do about like four ring fencing sessions minimum per day, as I mentioned.
Hmm.
And those are like usually on either client delivery or just building out sales assets or content or like the VSL landing pages for my business. And just like it's just more certain like how I do things. I have days specific for client deliveries, days specific for working on the business. And it's just like I'm able to juggle it all now.
Got it, dude. And this is why you're making so much progress so fast.
Yeah, it's insane.
And
Like
how does it feel? Because I remember when we started working together, you were like, dude, I've watched all of your content. Like, I'm sure there's not much more that I can learn. Well, turns out there was, but
with
like,
Roderick.
like, how does it feel? Because, you know, we've done with so many times, but it's always very exciting to see the transformation in real time.
Yeah, so honestly, like as I mentioned, as you just mentioned, like I watched your content. I watched all the hour-long videos, the mindset ones, the ones on belief. Like I knew it all. And coming in, I was like, what can I learn from you that I already don't know? What changed is just that like joining the Monday calls every single week, give like you giving me like one-on-one training, telling me like, hey, this week you focus on getting three ring fencing sessions done every single day. This week you focus on getting your sleep together because like if you don't sleep, you're not sleeping properly. If you don't sleep properly, everything's just ruined. And like that guidance is what helped me the most.
And how did the meditation and the subconscious reprogramming work, right? Because I know you've done those and you've done them very well. And in tandem is what rewires that subconscious response
Yeah,
towards work. Because the fact that you say you have zero procrastination, that is incredible, right? It's one of the things that we promise, but it's very hard to achieve for anyone, right? Everybody knows
yeah,
about procrastination and everybody procrastinates. So you've done a fundamental rewiring of the brain in how it approaches tasks, and the fact you're
yeah.
not procrastination when doing new stuff, like cold calling or talking to strangers, people that people typically freak out, that is a lot. So how have you approached that?
Yeah, so like the entire third module of the course was on like mental rewiring, nailing in meditation. And it's just like one of the main things I struggled with was wanting to see results on that fast, right? Like I think I was like, Leon, is meditation really gonna work? Do I really need to do it? Like, do I really need to like play a voice recording of my beliefs into my ear every single day? Stick to the, like you just literally bashed me on the head and told me like, to stick to the process, and I did. And what happened is that I've noticed that like I get much less self doubt. Like self doubt and getting in my own way was the biggest problem when I came into the course. And just those two those two routines of like meditating and then doing the mental rewiring program that just took it away. Like I have like a lot better self talk right now. Like my internal talk to my like how I speak to myself, how I approach things. Like there's very little very few moments where I'm like beating myself up. And that's entirely different to how it was a year ago.
Incredible. But remember that you yourself have gone through deep personal periods in these 3 months, right? So, relationship wise, and you've decided to change your career and move to a different country. Like, dude, you haven't been locked in your room. You've literally been making a lot of decisions that are very important for you, right?
Yeah, like a lot of like for example, before I joined Selfmastered, like I initially thought that I was just gonna stay in Bangladesh, I was just gonna work on my business. But then like a few changes came. Like for example, I decided I'm gonna move to Malaysia for university. And I had to manage like IELTS prep on top of working on the business. And like without the self-mastery protocol, I don't know how I would have managed that.
And the emotional havoc of all of that, right? So that is what's most exciting. And dude, who do you think Submaster is for, right? So who can benefit from this?
Well, so one of the things about self-mastered is just that it's not a hand-holding program. It's not like a easy program. Like you don't just buy it and then boom, you're done. It's not tactics. Like if you're coming into self-mastered, you have to realize it'll take 3 or 4 months for like the changes to like, truly appear. And it takes work, right? Doing meditation every single day, doing the mental training program every single day, doing 4 ring fencing sessions every single day. Those are not easy, especially at the beginning. For example,
Mhm.
where I was at. But just like one of the processes you have to stick to, and you just have to tough it out in the beginning. And obviously, Leon's going to help you. And then, like, I noticed results in by the first month. But for someone else, it might be different. Someone else might notice it earlier, someone might notice it later, but it's just sticking to the process, showing up every single day, and just recognizing that self-mastered requires work, right? Like it's not like a list of chat GPT prompts that you can use to become more productive. It's not a habit tracking program. It's like literally an actual like rebuild like rewiring program for your brain.
Yeah.
And you have to put the work in.
Yeah, but it's been 3 months with us, and look at you.
Yeah. Like 3 months is objectively not a long time, but it requires a lot of work. And unless you're not like if you're not willing to put in the work, then self mastery, you're just gonna be disappointed. You're not gonna get results. You're gonna be frustrated.
But then who wants to put in the work? So what is a profile? Because you've met a lot of our kind of 6, 7, 8 figure founders. You've seen them, you've talked to
Yeah,
them, you've been in the calls. Who it typically benefits from it? Because that work really is done across the board by people who literally want to win, right?
yeah. Like for example, one of your people, even for example, like he's an
Mhm.
8 figure infrastructure founder, and like he is locked in. Like he know like he's like facing such difficult decisions every single day, like who to hire, who to fire, things like that. Like those are some of the questions I noticed he asked you, and like he knows that he needs to maintain emotional regularity to be able to show up to his work every single day. He needs to face like he needs to get himself in order to do the work he needs to do every single day. And that's the profile that mainly would fit self master, which is like you have ambitions, you have very big goals, and just a self awareness to say that, okay, I'm not the type of person that's going to get to my goals right now. Like that self awareness is very necessary.
Absolutely. Right. Because again, if you want to win, you have to realize the current version of yourself is doesn't stand a chance. You need to update your identity, but most importantly, you need to train the mind, right? Because again, it's always
Yeah.
the mind. You're subconsciously sabotaging your best behavior every day. So
Yeah.
if you could to quantify, you already kind of said it, but if you could, how would your productivity have improved? Because you went from one day a week, 4 hours, to like 6 days a week, 9 hours. So that's wild. But how would you quantify yourself? How is your productivity evolved? Your mindset, your habits, your outlook, your self belief.
Right. So I would start off with like how it's impacted my business.
Yeah.
So just because of the regularity like that self master gave me, and like how fast I was able to deliver for my clients and the quality, my client LTV has increased by like 3 times. So what would have you like?
Damn.
If I did not join self mastered, my client would have churned after paying me 5K, but they renewed for like 6 months and they paid me a total of $18,000, right? And
Dude.
that's just because I was able to deliver so much, and so consistently, and so fast. And if that's not worth it, I don't know what, because like that's like almost.
Dude, that is
But
incredible.
yeah, aside from that, it's also like being able to juggle a lot of things, especially for an early stage founder like me who has to do sales by myself, marketing by myself, fulfillment by myself. It's hard, right? It's really hard.
It is hard.
And like, and just the fact that I'm able to do it now because of like, I'm working 9 hours a day, focused, like not just like sitting there in front of my computer pretending to work, like of actual work. That's not something most people get done. The fact that I could do it,
Dude,
it's
in a
like
week, most people don't get 9 hours of actual solid high leverage work in a week, right? And you're getting in a day, right? That's incredible. And eighteen
yeah,
thousand dollars is, dude. So you're working from Asia, right? And you're serving clients in the UK and the US. That's wild for you. That really changes the whole perspective because you're doing an
yeah, that's,
incredible job, right?
and that's just from one client. Imagine when I
Yeah,
get like,
yeah.
but
It's gonna be
yeah, so
incredible.
the biggest benefit of self mastery for me has been the confidence in knowing that I can deliver for my client. Because when I came into the program, I had this huge belief that I landed my client by fluke. It was an accident. He's gonna churn next month. It was just a lot of stress. And like the mental training program especially has helped me alleviate, like completely get rid of that thought. Especially after I generated evidence that, hey, I just tripled my client's traffic. So why would he not pay me the money he's paying me, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Good job, dude. I'm so proud. Only 3 months, dude. Only 3 months.
Only three
That's
months.
incredible. All right. So next 9 months, what would be the ideal scenario? Because as you know, in order to help the mind, help ourselves, we need to be absolutely very clear on what it is that we're trying to achieve and how are we going to architect everything within the mind and the business and our life to get there. So what would be a well, you need to move to a different country. That's first things. That's going to bring a little bit of entropy. You need to balance that out with the six-figure business. What is it? What are we going to achieve? What's the next hurdle?
But 9 months from now, I want to be at 30K per month. So I'm currently at around hovering around 3 to 5K, depending on like what deliverables my client adds.
Mm-hmm.
But in 9 months from now, I want to have 5 or 6 clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already building that out through like the guidance Leon's giving me, the other people in the community, and some other programs I'm in. But I'm building everything out.
Mm-hmm.
And in 9 months from now, I want to have a couple of people helping me so that I can like manage work and my university. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, like, for a specific revenue milestone, I want to be at 30K per month. And
Absolutely
I know
agree.
I can do it because I'm like my output matches the goal.
Yeah. And now we need to help you train those guys. Set the
Yes.
systems and because that you will need that. Cool, but that's great because we know something to aim for. You started very early with us, and look at you, right? You literally have skyrocketed your productivity and overall performance. So if
Yeah,
so, and go.
like 9 hours of work per day compared to 15 hours of work per month. Like, that's like more than 10x, right?
Yeah, I didn't know it was that bad, but yeah, dude, like this. Well, imagine you compound this. You compound this for 6 months, for 1 year, for 3 years. At some point, people are not going to be able to compete with you because you're going to
Yeah.
have a brain that is literally elite.
Yeah, like I have no self-sabotaging behavior. I know what I want. I can art like you. I have your help to like architect the roadmaps, the systems. Like there's nothing that's stopping me.
No, not anymore. Your
Not
mind
anymore.
was stopping you. Now, not anymore. You know how to deal with yourself.
Yeah, and like one of the benefits that didn't I failed to mention earlier was just like the like how to manage all this emotional stress, right? Like working 9 hours a day is difficult, and then managing the stress of like, oh, is my client gonna renew or is it gonna churn, and the workload. Like all the strategies from Self-Mastered helps with managing that stress,
Yeah.
which was key
The
to like not burning out. Because otherwise I would burn out on like day 3 or day 4.
Yeah, I bet, dude. I bet 9 hours every day is not something anyone can kind of sustain and compound. In fact, we call it a 10x day. If you realize what you're doing, dude, that is not normal. So 9 hours every single day of pure focus, no bullshit, no procrastination. That is elite level. So we already train, we train guys that are extremely good, right? And I always say the benchmark, literally the minimum is 3. The
Yeah.
ideal is 4 because depending on how many things going on in your life, more than that can be a little bit complicated. We need to make sure that within 4 we have the perfect structure. You are doing not 5. 5
Yeah.
means elite, means that's Olympic shit, dude. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all because of you, right?
Well, you've done the work. You've worked on yourself, right? I'm your guide. I'm the guy who's done all the work of researching everything and giving you what you need, but you've done it. So congratulations,
Thanks, Leon. But honestly, I could not have done it without you. It's
dude.
all because of you wanting one help.
Dude, I really appreciate that because it means a lot. And what I'm most pumped with is the future, what's coming now. That's the best thing, right? Let's continue winning. Last question. If someone is on the verge, right now of joining. Imagine that, they've done all the works, they've done all the productivity trainings, they bought the books, they built the operating systems, all that stuff, right? Nothing has worked. Why would that work? Why would this work? Why did you get the results? What would you tell them?
Okay, so the first thing is like there's nothing new under the sun, right? Like it's not the specific tactics or the protocols that like if you read deep work, you probably know everything you need to know about productivity.
Mhm.
It's just these books, they give you the protocols, but they don't give you a roadmap for implementation and they don't train you. And so what the main benefit of self-mastery is that you get a roadmap to like figure out like where you're at right now, what your biggest weaknesses are, and you get like a dedicated like plan on how you tackle those like, weaknesses.
Yeah,
And once you remove the weaknesses, there's nothing but strengths, right?
exactly. Well, at some point, your strength will become a weakness. This is why entrepreneurship is hard. Most people fail to get this, but right now, your ability to work very hard is going to be very good until 20K, 30K, 40K. Then
Mm-hmm.
your ability to be extremely good at what you do is we need to transfer that to your employees.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be capping at 30K, 40K, right? Which is good. It's a great income, but we want to get to seven figures, right?
100K, 200K.
Exactly. So when I was, with eight-figure CEOs, is about training them to consistently think clearly and transfer that to their employees. Otherwise, it just becomes too hard.
Yeah. Like one person can never run a multi seven or multi eight figure business.
It's no, for the most part, most businesses do not allow that. But good,
Yeah.
Ravi, again, dude, it's always great to see you 1 month without seeing your face because you've been crushing it. Now, let's,
Thanks a lot, Leon.
dude, thanks for your trust. Thanks for working hard and thanks for trusting the process. As I say, it's all about the process is proven. You just need to do it. If you do it, it will work. Now, how well it will work, it depends on baseline. Turns out, dude, you've gone from, you said 16 hours a month to 9 hours a week. That
A
is
day.
a day. Damn. Assuming, and you're working six, so you're working 24, so you're working 216 hours. So from 9 hours, 16 hours, from 16 hours to 216 hours. Not bad.
Really good. Really
That
good.
is incredible. Dude. This is how you win, right? It's never how much marketing you know or how well the VSL is, because you can always improve the VSL. But if you don't have
Yeah.
the mental capacity to consistently do it, you won't do it. Ravi,
Yeah.
great to see you, mate. As always, keep crushing it. You've done a fantastic job. Now, let's make sure we keep winning. All right. We need to scale
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
Talk soon, mate. Bye.
Bye.